good evening, and welcome to the Women's Football Show. I'm joined by some youth referees. We're joined by one youth referee at this point in time, in Tajari Rogers. We are awaiting Sarah Smith to join us as well. But we want to get first-hand knowledge of how these youngsters have helped to make sure that this women's league is up and running on a regular basis. I know a lot of people concentrate on the actual games themselves, but without the officials, none of these games can actually go on. So, Tajari, first of all, I'm going to tell you and goes out to all the youth officials and the officials that are doing these women's games as well as the under 23 games. Thank you very much because you guys, the job you're doing allows these leagues to run and allows Bermuda football to get stronger in many different ways. And earlier I had a show with two officials who are going to the World Cup from our region, and you never know where this might take you, along this journey. I know you're one of those people that I think you turned your camera off or you turned the light off. Okay, you're one of those people that you do multiple sports as well, and just how did the officialing start come about for you?
Okay, so actually, so at first it was just like, so since I play football as well, right? So it's just like it was for me to get a better understanding of like the violations and rules and stuff in football. So when I do officiating, it helps with like my football as well. So it was like to help me like get a better understanding of the game of football.
Mm. And then taking charge, especially of youth games. What was that? What was that like for you? Mr. Williams throwing you into the deep end, saying, "Come on, you're going to officiate this youth match." What was that first one like for you?
Well, I'll say like the first one, it was like it wasn't difficult, but of course it was just like of course they're like little children, so it's just like you will have to have patience and like you'll just have to have like you have to get them to understand the game better so you guys can have an easy like easy go at the game. So
Now,
yeah,
doing youth games is not easy because you have a lot of the parents on the sideline, challenging every call that's made, challenging every
right.
decision that's made, and so forth. How do you learn to block that stuff out?
Well, really, it's just yeah, it's wow, it comes easy to me now, but like at first it was like everything was coming to me at once, and I was just like I couldn't like it kind of like I wouldn't say it overwhelmed me, but it kind of did at the same time.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just like that. But then I learned to like block it out and go and like be sure about my call. So yeah, it was just like changing my calls after that.
Yeah. Now the transition to the women's league because we haven't had a women's league, a senior women's league in a number of years. And again, I want to congratulate the youth referees for stepping up and ensuring that this league actually continues. But that transition, were there any thoughts or any concerns on your behalf regarding the stepping up to do senior women's games?
I mean, actually, it was just like the same. If you like, it was just the same. So it was just like, I mean, I just had to go out there and do my thing. So it's just like,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, what's been some of the challenges that you would have had from a youth game to this women's league?
Okay, well, okay, so I would probably say that the youngest, like the youths, they would listen to me, like, and actually like go along with my call instead of like talking back and stuff. But I feel like the women's, like if they feel like I called a wrong call because it wasn't theirs, like I guess if it wasn't their for their benefit, they'll probably like they'll probably just talk back and be like, oh, they'll just go on.
Yeah, yeah. Has it been fun for you?
It is actually. It is.
Yeah. Now, clearly, there's a little more speed in it because the women are a little more older.
Yeah.
Have you adjusted to that? With the youngsters, sometimes you can get away with a little walk here because they kind of tend to jumble in, and then the ball gets kicked. So the
Right.
speed of the game, that transition for you.
I'll say that transition was actually easy for me, cause like I don't know, it's just like, well, I am a runner, not to like
Right.
you, but I
Yes.
am a runner, so it is like it was just easy for me. So like yeah, it was just like okay, I need to do this because there's no slacking. So it's just yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Now, clearly, being around a lot of the females, especially when you're in the middle or you're officiating, a lot of them want to be quote unquote a mother figure of sorts. Young man, you don't know what
mm,
you say. You don't know what you do. What are some of the comments you're making back? Because you just want to reassure them that you do know what it is you're doing.
right. Well, I'll just be like, okay, so I have like I train for this stuff, so it's just like I'll just be like, Michael, I promise you, Michael is the better call, and it's just like. And then it's also like when if they was to ask me a question, like, cause the person in the middle would give like a call, and they
Hmm.
would ask me like if that call was like the right call to make, or if I had anything against it. And I was like, like um I would
Support the
help
referee.
them. Yeah, I'll support the referee in
Mm-hmm.
like in their call.
Sure, sure. Now, you're again. I know you're a very active young man. You're in several sports, but training for officiating, how unique is that for you in regards to you play the sport, but you also got to do these training sessions. You're doing classroom work. You're doing the book work, all of that. How is that for
Right.
you?
Actually, it's like it is like kind of challenging keeping like it balanced.
Hmm.
But like after a while, you do get used to it, and then you just have to just maintain and just yeah,
Yeah.
just don't
How,
slack off. You can't slack
and,
off at all.
and doing the training for officiating, how has that helped you in your running aspect? Because there's a lot of running that goes on in this training
Right.
exercises.
Well, yeah, it does keep up with my fitness, so I'll give it that. Like, and it keeps up with like my endurance and helps me with my running. So yeah, that's
And
true.
you got to jump back into the sailboat, and that would help you with your endurance as well.
Yes, yes.
But when you were asked to officiate the senior women's league, what
Hmm.
was your initial concerns, or did you have any concerns?
No, I didn't have any. I didn't have any actually. No, I didn't have any concerns. I was
Uh,
just like, well, they need me for this, so I'm just gonna do my thing.
yeah. Now, what would you say is some of the good things that the instructors have given you tools to improve your game? What's some of those things that they've told you to work on, or should you to work on?
Okay, so I'll give an example for like penalties, or yeah, it's just say like direct free kicks or whatever, like direct
Hmm.
goals. Like they they told me to like okay, because I used to have like a problem with like calling the like making the call and then not staying where I was, and
Hmm.
they had told me that I had to stay there to know where the foul or whatever actually happened. So I have to like stay there until until it has got back cold back to where the occasion happened, and then I would go to the spot like on the
Hmm.
last defender. So
Hmm.
that's also, and they also help me like they just remind me that I always have to have like a 45-degree angle when I do my calls as well.
Hmm. So that's some of the things on your mind you play through before the game to make sure that you're in tune to what's going on. So it's not a shock to the system when it actually happens. It just comes natural now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, these games, what has been some of the fun things, or what has been some of the challenging things thus far in the season for you in the women's games?
The fun things I'll probably say is that I actually got to see, wow, the opposite gender out there doing the thing, like, doing the best they could do, like, and I actually, I'm getting surprised of a lot of them, like, they're actually doing pretty cool. And then, I mean, I wouldn't say I really have any challenges. It's just like you talking back. That's about it.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Well, let's welcome Sar Smith. Sar, welcome.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well, we're talking about the fact that, and I'll say it to you as well. I want to thank you for putting your hand up to officiate the women's league as well as the youth leagues, because without you guys putting in this effort and this work, a lot of these leagues will not get played. So, I want to say thank you very much, and hope that you continue the journey. Even if you do want to continue to play, I think it's remarkable that you're willing to officiate, because it's not easy. It's not easy. So let's talk a little bit about the women's game. Sarah, for you, what was your expectations when you first signed up, or when you were asked to the women's league?
Can you say that again? I didn't really hear that.
What was your expectations when you were asked to officiate the women's league?
Well, I didn't really think that they'd be as good as they are, because they seem pretty good.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
better than I imagined. Yeah.
Okay. So initially you thought it would have been a lot, I guess, a lot slower than what it is. But they've surprised you.
Yeah.
What about their knowledge of the game when they're on the field? Has that surprised you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they haven't. This was like the first women's league in almost 20 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Senior league, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a challenge for them getting up and running. So let me ask you, what got you involved in officiating from this young age?
When I was like, because when I was like under 10 playing football, I always want to do it because it just looked like it was a lot of fun. So then when I got about 11, or 12, my mother told me that I was old enough, so then I just did it. Yeah, and I liked it.
Oh, okay. We're joined by the head of referee for the Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Cranston Williams. Him pushing you young people into a position of gaining trust, gaining understanding rules. How much influence did he have on you wanting to be a part of the women's game or the women's division? That's the
Is that a lot because like it's more motivation to keep doing it? Yeah, because someone's supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, good evening, Mr. Williams. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Days and as well.
Yes. Earlier in the show prior to this one, talking with Caleb and Mienza as well as Rohan, talking about some of the things that they had to do to reach the goals in which both of Caleb heading to the Men's World Cup in Qatar, and Mienza heading to the Under-20 Women's World Cup. But just some of the things that they expressed on what it is they need to do to improve their game. You've given these youngsters encouragement from a young age to start to get their feet wet and being a part of the women's game as well to help it grow. How much of that for you as head of referee is gratifying, because without these young people, this league might really struggle to exist?
Well, I must say, first of all, Sar and Tajari are what I would call my reliable people. There's Sar, Tajari, Juna, Sebastian, Dekeu, Zori. They are just some of the young people that have stepped up, and they really like it. So once the regular youth season ended, I did mention to them, look, you have the under 23s coming up plus the women. Of course, first team to go up, Sar and Tajari. So I'm excited what they're doing, and I've seen the growth in their confidence. Actually, we had a course recently, Mr. Peter Pendergrass, who's the lead FIFA technical instructor, and somehow Mr. Pendergrass has persuaded Saar, convinced him that he now would like to switch from being an AR to being a referee. So once again, the president always throws me these curveball Saar's not throwing me another one. So because of Saar has that mentality where he's like, look, I can do this. So I remember one Friday night, it was an under 13 game. I think Saar plays under 15s, and the referee was late. And Saar came to me one time, so Williams, he's not here. So what's happening? I'm getting in the middle. And I was a little hesitant because I'm like, there his periods, whatever. So I was like, Mr. Williams, he's not here. Am I getting in the middle? I was like, okay, go ahead. And, to see that type of enthusiasm, you can't really not do your best to nurture it. Tajari, we're trying to get Tajari in the middle, but he's an athlete. He prefers to be on the line. That's Tajari's thing. He loves being on the line. And, you watch Tajari up and down the way he holds his poetry in motion. So I know that in the future, I have 2 more prospective FIFA officials. But, Mr. Rogers is very, very busy. He's into sailing, he's into track and field, he's into football. So I'm just grateful that he still, comes when we ask him. But yeah, I mean, these are 2 that I would say definitely for the future. And all I ask of people, please remember they're young. They're not even 16, and they're taking up a challenge that most adults don't want to do. Yeah. And like Saar said, I'm there, me, if I'm there and I hear you shouting at one of them, then Mr. Williams turns the other person most people don't want to see. Because like I said, they're doing something that most adults don't want to do. So we have to nurture that and encourage it.
Sure. So let me come back to you, Saar. Doing these women's games, for you, when Mr. Williams would have said, okay, we're going to do these, and he just explained how you wanted to jump in the middle of an under 13 game, how satisfying is it for you at the end of the game when somebody says, good job?
Just last week, someone said that the ref, it was me and 2 other people, and she said that we were the best referees that she's had. So it's pretty satisfying because then you know that you did a good job.
Right. Now, a lot of times, and Mr. Williams and I talk about this a lot. A lot of times, it's how calls are made. A confident call is a loud blow of the whistle. It's it's a command kind of thing. A questionable call, if you're unsure, sometimes it's not as strong. It's not, you know what I mean? How do you make sure that when you are in the middle, or if you're on the line, you have control of everything that's around you because of the way you present either your flag work or that whistle work?
Yeah. I just stay confident. I just try to have the best posture I can. And I don't know.
I'm going to jump back into Tajari. Tajari, when you are with a team of young officials, when you're all around the same age, and especially in the women's league, what do you guys say to each other before you go out, or what are some of the things you want to do to encourage each other to be as strong as possible for the match at hand?
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no worries. What when you're preparing for a game, and you're with the officials prior to the start of the game, what are some of the things you guys are saying to each other to ensure that you're a unit, you're a team on the field to give the 2 teams confidence that you guys know exactly what you're doing?
Well, actually, we just talk about so we'll be like, we'll tell each other, we encourage each other, of course. We just say, go out there, make the calls, make sure you're sure about it, and of course, and support, support each other, and we also what's the word? I can't think of it right now, but it's just we'll just always got each other's backs as well.
Yeah, and Mr. Williams, just giving them advice before they go out. I know a lot of times you don't like to interfere with them, but especially when you have a young team, when you have a young team going out to do a game that could possibly be a little more, what I want to say, not confrontational, but a little more stronger than another game. What's some of the things you tell them in when you assign them, or just prior to the game?
Well, for me, they know if I'm at the match, I tell them that they are in charge of the match. I said no one outside the game should influence the calls. And I said if they make a call, be sure of the calls and that they are in charge. I also tell whoever's in the middle, do not take any lip service from the players or the coaches. That's what the cards are for. And they are in charge. And I stress that over and over and over. And if I have the match commissioner, they know. Any issues, you let me know and I will handle your light work. That's what I'm here for. And most of the time, the referees don't really tend to use their cards, especially the women's league. They try and be a little more lenient, but we've had to tell them, while we get that you would like to manage a game with 11 players on the field, if somebody deserves a card, then you need to, display that card. So,
Now, I spoke to Tajari about this earlier, but it's a difference. Now, Tajari, we were talking about the parents when you're doing youth games. These women's games have a lot of people, surrounding the BFA field. How uncomfortable is it at times, especially when you have, down if you're doing the corner where you come down the slope, you usually have fans right up against the fence there and all along that fence. How uncomfortable could that be sometimes? Because somebody right behind you can say you weren't in line with play, and you start doubting yourself because they're right there, they're in your ear. How uncomfortable is that for you?
You're just talking to me, or?
Yeah, I'm talking to you first, and then I'm going to ask Saad the same question.
All right, well,
your audio dropped out. Your audio dropped out. So go out and come back, and I'll bring you right back in. Yeah. So Saad, that same question. How uncomfortable at times could that be?
It was hard as it is when people couldn't come down the bottom. But now with people right behind you, it's kind of like you don't know what they're doing behind you. They could be doing anything.
Right.
And they see everything that you could see if they're in line with you. So the shouting, that's not offside, or it's offside or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things I've had my time officiating, running a line, or just helping out doing games or so when I was growing up. One of the things that has changed a lot is that offside rule. Cranston, when years ago when we were playing, that offside rule was one way. Now it's a different way. You've almost gotta keep an eye out for when the ball is kicked or hear it, and then judge whether or not the person's offside or not, and it becomes a very difficult thing. So Saar, and before I go any further, congratulations on being Youth Referee of the Year.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So how do you manage that part of it, especially the offside part?
It seems complicated. It's kind of complicated. Not complicated. It sounds like it is, but because when someone kicks the ball, sometimes you don't see it being kicked, or sometimes you don't hear it. So I don't know. It's just
Sure.
Well, if I could help Sarah, what I tend to tell the youth referees is, whoever's shouting, if they can do a better job than you, then they can come and take the flag. That's, for me, it's an easy fix, because I keep stressing to people, these are young people that are doing something positive. So they're not going to get every single thing right. And as you stated earlier, without these youngsters, we probably wouldn't have enough match officials for the women's league, because in the normal scheme of things, the senior referees would be on what you call holiday. So that the women's league plus the under 23 leagues is kind of like an extension of the season. So what we try to do is mix the seniors with the juniors, so we have happy medium. And we try not to use them all the time. However, Sarah and Tajari, they seem to be like Iron Man. Mr. Williams, you need me, just call me. So, I just willingly say, okay, I know if I send Sarah's mom a message for something, she's like, yep, Sarah will be there. So you know, they really like it. So I'm also trying to also balance. I don't want to burn them out, but at the same time, where the fans are concerned, I'd advise anybody. We have a new online platform. You can sign up to do a course, and then if you feel that you've mastered that, we have in-person sessions so that you know all those people on the side can become master officials. But the one thing we stress, the abuse, we're just not tolerating the abuse. We're really not doing that.
Yeah. So when you first came on, you started saying that you was impressed with the women's style of play. Of course, you thought, you know, they surprised you. What has been your biggest challenge in the game, though?
I don't know.
Okay. So, what has been your biggest enjoyment?
Sometimes, depending on which team is, it's not as much running sometimes. So, but if you got a more exciting game, then it'll be a lot more running. But yeah.
Okay. And you like the physical part of the game, or you just like the aspect of doing enough running to get the game going?
I like a game that's like I'm excited. Because if it's a lot of action, then yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. Now, as a young person, how have the coaches taken to you and your peers, especially when you guys are officiating? How have the coaches been towards you guys? You can be honest. Some good, some bad.
Depending on which, like the team. Like I've ref most under 13 games.
Right.
Like the most of the teams, so I know all the coaches, and I know if his someone that shouts at you or his someone that doesn't shout at you. So I just know when it's gonna be like a hard game for me,
right?
And then I'm gonna get like they're not gonna be on me as much,
right? And how do you deal with that in preparation for the game? What are you telling yourself? Because obviously, as a grown up, you might get tired of hearing the same old thing from the same person over and over and over and over because they think you're wrong when you're actually right. So how do you mentally deal with that and lead up to a game? And you have this person. If you have Mr. Williams who's constantly on you every time you blow the whistle, how do you mentally get ready for Mr. Williams on the weekend?
I'll just have to block it out.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I was about to say, Earl, if you know SAR, nothing fails as SAR. SAR just blocks it out and he just does his thing. Some of the times, if I'm his match commissioner, I'll be the one having to say, hey, the coach can't talk to that. You have cards.
Right.
You know what I mean? But SAR's, but he didn't mean it like that. It's just the passion that he gave. SAR's just what it is. SAR's not, he just lets it go. SAR just enjoys officiating. If I'm gonna be very honest, he really enjoys officiating. So he doesn't really like to brandish the cards. If he can avoid giving a card, SAR would do his best not to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, SAR and to Tajari, not sure if you can still hear us. He's having internet problems, but I want to thank you and your fellow youth referees for assisting, not just in the youth league, but in this women's league as well, because Mr. Williams and I, again, we talk a lot about the struggles that both of those leagues would have if you guys didn't step up to the plate. And your reward this year, was being named the Youth Referee of the Year, and others will probably want to emulate that in years to come. So I would encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, stay in love with it. There will be some times along the way that you might question yourself, but then lean on the likes of Mr. Williams, lean on your parents, get that reassurance to fall back in love with what you do. And the support is there. Just realize that if there's anything in life that you're struggling with, the support is there. Just talk to people. And the same way you love to not show cards, you've got some people that are right there that want to just assist you in making sure that you do the right thing each and every time. And the right thing is sometimes just having a conversation. All right?
Mhm.
Mr. Williams, any parting words?
No, I just want to say also, that Saw also officiates in the first division for us as an AR, so in the men's league. So here's what I call now a seasoned veteran. So they just roll right off Saw's back. And Saw, like I said, is Mr. Reliable. If there's a Saturday where games are not scheduled for Saw and he sees like holes in the schedule where I don't have enough people, Saw's that person be on his bike and he'll show up at a field and he'll ask the match commission, do you have a referee? They say no. Saw's there. So for me, I have to just, give him his props. He has been one, I'm going to say it's been a godsend. So Saw, keep it up. And hopefully we can give you a due in the middle. Probably won't be next year, I don't think, probably the following year.
Why not? Saw, if you're ready, tell him. I'm ready.
I knew you would say that, Mr. Davis. I knew you would say that.
If you're ready, show you're ready. The only way to show you're ready is to get in there.
Yep, we're working on it. But thank you very much, Saw. Greatly appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you very much, Saw, and thank you, Tajari. And again, I'm going to encourage other youth to stay involved and others to get involved. Those who love to be on the sideline, to tell everybody they know the right things to do or right things to call, get involved. That online course is there, and then in-person course. Join the referees. Folks, have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.